What's up guys, RBG here, bringing you another Marvel Spider-Man PS4 update. Yesterday I gave you a narrative breakdown of the leaked Kingpin boss fight we got via VK Fest 2018. I couldn't really show you guys the video in question since Insomniac's community manager has been going on a flagging spree, pulling down any footage that could potentially spoil the game. Well, as of today, official web journalists like IGN, Game Informer, and a handful of other reputable sources have been given the green light to release the footage with their own commentary. And now that I'm looking at direct screen captures as opposed to footage that was recorded from a camera with screen glare, I want to talk about some of the new features I've noticed regarding some of the gameplay, specifically the swinging. But first I want to elaborate more on the Kingpin boss fight, to which I will stop later on to let you guys hear how the dialogue plays out. I mentioned how I felt like the boss fight lacked substance. Understandably, the leaked footage we got was barely a minute long, but it just looked like a tick for tack beat 'em up. Like you jump around and try to avoid as many attacks as possible. But apparently that was just a fraction of what the fight entails. According to Game Informer's Reiner, this is a very multi-layered boss fight. He confirmed that the first big thing you'll do in Spider-Man PS4 is take down Wilson Fisk, and the battle will be huge in scale, similar to the God of War games. And I gotta admit that makes perfect sense because Kingpin's lair or Fisk Tower is huge and bears quite a resemblance to the infamous Trump Tower in the real world. I can imagine that you'll have to go through different floors of security just to get to him. Speaking of floors, Reiner goes on to say that this fight is like a ride because Kingpin is tackling you into different rooms as the fight progresses. Hopefully the cutscenes aren't too aggressive when you transition out of the gameplay, because I really want to feel like I'm Spider-Man taking those brutal attacks. But anyways, this fight does feature other obstacles like these cool looking automatic turret guns built into the building's pillars, and you'll have to disarm them and use them as projectiles against Kingpin. So there are some mapped out choreography and gameplay patterns that the player will have to adapt to. But that's basically all I wanted to say about that. The fight looks amazing, and I love Insomniac's take on Kingpin. He gives off that Netflix Vincent D'Onofrio Kingpin vibe where he's a boiling pot about to combust at any moment. And I love how his tower has all of the Japanese inspired statues and paintings. But anyways, one of the main things I really want to talk about is the actual web swinging, because there are some surprising elements that made me mark out like a little girl. For the longest time, all of the footage we got in regards to the swinging felt good, but not to the point where we felt like we had full control. It seemed like certain movements and acrobatics were going to be sporadic depending on when you release your webs or how you jump, but once again it looks like Insomniac were only giving us a fraction of what the swinging would entail in the final product. If you look at the recent footage we've got, you'll notice that there's an actual rating/level system that encourages the player to perform as many tricks as possible. Unlike any other Spider-Man game that I've seen, when you pull off an acrobatic move, not only does it tell you how many experience points you've earned, but it also displays the name of the move, kinda like the Tony Hawk games. You see Spider-Man do one of his signature spin flips in the air, and the phrase Spider Roll will pop up at the right side of the screen. And you can chain in other flips like the moonsault for additional points. I also noticed that certain moves like the Spider Roll can be altered into a cannonball, and the XP will go from 2 points to 6. That's the intuitiveness I've been longing for, and that's the successor I've wanted to dethrone Spider-Man 2, because Spidey 2's web swinging still holds up to date. And one of the things I liked about it the most was if you kept a consistent swing without bumping into things, and you continue to increase your momentum, your web swinging speed will be upgraded. And I'm not sure if this game will have that particular feature, but if it does, it'll only add to what already makes the gameplay awesome. I can't wait to see how many moves I can pull off and how many I can unlock to pull off some insane next to impossible maneuvers. If the swinging is really in-depth, we can have players upload trick videos similar to Devil May Cry 3. But anyways, I think I've rambled on long enough. Now I'm gonna let the footage play out and segue into the Kingpin fight. I'll catch you guys later, and don't forget to share the video. Peace out.
Oh wow. One of my old backpacks from high school. Forgot I attached tracking dots to these.
Would you look at that? Half the crime tower's back up already.
When Spider Cop's on the job, come hell or high water, the job gets...
Nope, nope, nope. Nope.
She'd never admit it, but the chief was warming up to Spider Cop. His casual disregard for by-the-book thinking was a breath of fresh air. She'd come around someday. We got him. Just drop me off at the jail. No reason.
Go away!
So not cool. Backup's here! Why don't I have backup? All right! Nobody likes me! And they got way surprise!
Where'd he come from? He's not right there!
You guys all right?
We were just about to call for backup.
I think I'm it.
Lead the way. We'll be right behind you. Heads up, boss.
So you guys were in bed with Fisk all along? Oh no, I'll never get that image out of my head. So your plan didn't work. On to plan B, getting kicked in the face. Can't let him get him off. Pursue him already. Writing your memoirs? Don't forget the hyphen between spider and man.
Get the chopper ready. I won't be long. I'm surprised you made it this far. But your foolishness ends now.
You do know I can still see you, right?
80 years of this insolence.
Oh, for me? You shouldn't have. Gotta wait for an opening. Keep reloading.
How is this happening?
What's wrong, Willie? You seem angry.
I will destroy you!
Take your best shot. That gave me an opening.
You'll die as uselessly as you lived!
Take your best shot!
You are everything that's wrong with this city!
Huh. I was gonna say the same to you.